Hi, my name is Brittany. I'm one of the two librarians for the Fresno County Public Library. I'm here to welcome you to our Summer at Your Library digital programs. Before we begin, I want to take this moment and encourage you to check out our summer webpage at fresnolibrary.org/summer. You will find more information about all the wonderful things our library has to offer you this summer, like more fun programs for kids, teens, and adults, take and make crafts for teens, and even a reading program for all ages. And you can win prizes. So make sure you don't miss out on all the fun this summer and visit fresnolibrary.org/summer and enjoy the show.
All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Jordan Noble. This is Chloe Hagan, and we are both youth empowerment specialists at Resources for Independence Central Valley. So today we're going to be putting on a little presentation about civic duty and responsibility.
So we'll first start off with what is a civic duty? Well, you have to plan to hang out with your best friend. So you jump on the bike, put your helmet on, and ride down to the street. You are a good bike rider. Know the rules of the road and always obey the traffic laws. And though you might not realize it, you are doing your civic duty by obeying the laws on the way to visit your friend's house. Civic duties are the things people are required to do by law as citizens for the good of the country and everyone else who lives there, too. For example, if there were no rules at your school about behaving during lunch, there would probably be lots of food fights every day. These lunchroom rules are like the laws in our country, and obeying these laws are examples of civic duty. If most people didn't do their civic duty by obeying these laws, things would be out of control, like in the school cafeteria.
It'd be pandemonium.
Yes.
Food fights every day. Okay, so this next slide, I'm going to be talking about what is a citizen. So a citizen is a member of a country who owes loyalty to the government of that country. So that's why right next to what is the citizen, we have a picture of an American flag. Civics is the study of the rights, responsibilities, and duties of citizens. So next we have Americans have duties and responsibilities that benefit their society. We've got a picture here of a street sign, and it's pointing to the left, and it says duty. We've got another one that's just a street sign that says responsibility. So a duty is an action that citizens are required to perform. Required means you have to do this. A responsibility is an action people should perform. So in the United States, all of the citizens, we pay taxes, we defend the country, we participate in law. Like if you guys have ever had to go to court, sometimes, that's why we've got the gavel right here. These are all those laws that we make up. We go to court and decide those laws, and then those laws are implemented. So obeying laws are important because it helps prevent accidents. Let's face it, taxes don't have the best reputation. People are always complaining about having to pay them. The money that they take out of your check every month or every week is just like, it hurts me. But, it's helpful to know that those taxes are actually benefiting society as a whole. It's not just that they're taking the money from you to be mean, but actually those taxes go to benefit other people. Next, we've got a picture of some people in some like Navy outfits, and serving your country is also a responsibility that people have. Some people sign up for it. Other times you're required to. They throw out there, okay, men over the age of 18 years of age, you're going to come and serve because we need people to serve. So the Congress decides how we spend the money of our taxes. Defending the nation is how we keep our other citizens safe. And then serving in court, there are many rights that citizens have in regards to our justice system. It's also required or important that we as citizens implement these rights by serving in court and deciding if another member of our society has broken a law or maybe their rights were infringed upon. So it's lots of different ways how you can be a citizen and the duties and responsibilities that you put forth. Okay, next slide, we have the responsibilities of a citizen. So the biggest responsibility that we have as citizens is to be informed and vote. We want to respect the property and the rights of others. We want to participate in the community and be respectful of others. So the decisions that citizens vote on and the laws that we implement have a direct impact on how people want to live their lives. And being respectful of the property of others, everyone has a right to own property and expect others to respect their property. Let's say Chloe and I were hanging out and Chloe just got the new iPhone and I'm sitting here with like a flip phone back from the 90s. And I'm like, well, I don't have a new iPhone. So I just take Chloe's phone from her. And Chloe's like, why'd you take my phone? Well, because I don't have an iPhone. So it's fair. If I don't have it, why should you have it? That's wrong. Okay. That's how I would be respecting Chloe by saying, oh, wow, that's a cool phone. Man, I need to save up money so I can get a new phone or whatever the problem is. But I don't take from Chloe to get what I want. And so then,
And vice versa.
exactly. Chloe doesn't take from me either. And so let's say you have a neighbor who is an elderly individual and they're having problems taking out their trash to the side of the road every week to get picked up, the waste management company. So let's say I notice that they're struggling getting that trash out. So I go over and I'm like, hey, Miss Jones, I noticed that you're having trouble getting your trash out to the curb every week for Wednesday. So is it okay if I help you out on Tuesday evenings if I roll your trash can out to the road so that it gets picked up? And probably Mrs. Jones would be like, oh my gosh, Jordan, thank you so much. You're so sweet. And like in reality, that's not required of me. It's not like my mom said, go across the street and ask Miss Jones if she needs help. No, I went because I noticed that she needed help. And so the best way that I can help her is by offering the services, what I can do to help her. And then, I mean, imagine if I didn't ask her if she needed help. And so every week she doesn't get her trash out to the trash bin. Well, where's all that trash going to go if no one's coming and picking it up every week? Maybe trash starts accumulating on the outside of her house. And now the neighborhood looks bad because there's trash bags on the sidewalk and people don't know what to do. And in reality, I could have just been a helpful person and offered her help. So, helping others makes society run smoothly. Respecting different opinions allows us as a community to grow despite the differences of opinion. If I have a difference of opinion with Chloe and we talk about it, I might get a better understanding of something that I didn't really know that I had an opinion on, and like, oh, well, I didn't even think about that or come to realize that. And so in communicating with Chloe, having that connection with her, maybe I'm realizing things that I didn't realize before.
So the civic duties in the court system. Not everyone does their civic duty though, and obeys the laws. So not everyone does this. If someone has to go to court, the Constitution says that they have the right to trial and decide by the jury. A jury is a group of people from the community who listens to all the facts of the case and make a decision about what should happen to the person on trial. Jury duty is a civic duty that requires citizens to sit on a jury if they are called by the government to do so. There is a jury duty notice, so you'll get a notice in the mail, And then there's jury duty summon that you are summoned, you got picked, and you are summoned to go and do this the jury duty and do your civic duty. Another civic duty that all U.S. citizens have to do have is to be a witness in court if they see or know something about a case. Witnesses must testify in court and tell the jury what they know so they can make a knowledgeable decision. We've seen this with a really famous um, case that's going on between, you know, um, what's it called?
Johnny Depp.
Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. Sorry, and so this is like televised, and a lot of people know about it. But we see more in depth of what goes on in this case, and in a lot of similar cases. So you could have been called to court, called to do jury duty for that case. So yeah.
All right, so now we're going to talk about compulsory civic responsibility. So compulsory is required by the law. So these are things that you have to do. So some things that you have to do is obey the laws of the land. And I mean, let's say I say you have to do it, but if you don't do it, if you don't obey the laws of the land, you're probably going to go to jail. If you go to jail for over a year, you're going to prison. So, I mean, I say you have to. I mean, you don't have to, but then technically you're losing a lot of rights as a citizen once you go to jail. So another thing that is compulsory required is for you to pay your taxes. If you don't pay your taxes and you have a job, and then when it's time every year to pay taxes and you didn't take that money out of your check every single time, you're probably going to owe a lot of money. So that's what's beneficial to, every check you get, that they kind of have their fingers in the pot, so to speak, because then later on you won't owe more money. You might still owe money, but maybe you won't owe as much money. Another thing that is required is voting. That's compulsory in some nations. It's not compulsory here in the United States, but some nations do require their citizens vote. Public service, so like jury duty, that's a public service. And then let's say, while you guys are thinking there, if you can think of anything others that are required by law, talk about it amongst yourselves.
So voluntary civic responsibility is basically you volunteer to do that civic duty. So, for example, getting involved with community development, volunteering for nonprofit organization like RCV. So, if you volunteered with us, that's you are volunteering your time. You don't have to do it, but you choose to. Donating to charitable places, offering your skills to the neighborhood, and transferring knowledge to other people. Like if I have a lot of knowledge on, I don't know, math, or and a lot of knowledge about, I don't know, real estate or something, and giving that knowledge to my friend so she will be able to buy a house or learn more about this. And then she gives me knowledge about what she knows about a specific topic. That's really helpful and builds a great society. And respecting others' people's rights. So just because you don't think someone should, I don't know, smoke or something because it's really bad, but you can't do anything about that because that is their right to do that, So, respecting each other's rights is very, very important.
Okay, so the purpose of civic responsibilities, because everything has a purpose. So what this does is it makes suggestions to have a role towards nation building in the future. So let's say, if volunteering my time at RACV was really important because I'm helping youth with disabilities, then maybe how can we take that small idea and turn it into a bigger one? How do we make that bigger? So, the government cannot fix everything. We can't just rely on them to fix all the problems. So we're closer to ourselves with other people than to the government. What that means is if I wanted to teach, put on, if I want to transfer my knowledge about computers and how to access computers, it would be easier for me to put on a little webinar and reach out to the people in my community, as opposed to saying, no, I want this webinar to go straight to the president, Joe Biden, and I want Joe Biden to tell everyone about all this knowledge that I'm trying to give to him. That's going to be a lot harder to pull off meeting with the president of the United States rather than collaborating with Chloe and reaching out to the people that we know and that we work with and passing it on that way. So our civic responsibilities make living easier in our communities. If I'm making it easier for people with disabilities, with youth with disabilities, to gain a job, that's going to have like when you drop a drop of water into water, it like reverberates out. It's going to keep making beneficial things happening in our community.
So where our civic responsibilities begin? Well, let's first start in our neighborhoods, towns or cities, at our schools, in our churches and mosques, in our states and in our country. It can be abroad as national brand ambassadors. It can even begin it can begin wherever you start. So it can begin in your neighborhood, offering to help your neighbor out with, as Jordan said, offering to take the trash out on trash day, or, helping kids cross the road when they're going to school, things like that. You can, start wherever you would like. It's that easy. Doing a good thing.
And if there's one take home that Chloe and I want you guys to get from this presentation, it's this: if there will be a great nation, it will be built by both the leaders and the followers. So it takes us collaborating with our leaders to build the nation that we want, not just us relying on leaders to build the nation that we want.
So I want to call to action, or I want to call you guys to action and to start doing your civic duties, whether it's you have to, or whether it's voluntarily done by you. Doing your civic duty is a part of being a good citizen and a good person in your community. So start enjoying it, because you'll always, it will help you and it will benefit you in the future as well.
All right, so how to be a good citizen. So we talked with you guys about how to be a good citizen, which is a person who lives in a particular place. Each citizen has a civic duty, which are the things that relate to the place or the people who live there. And there are things that must be done because it's the right thing to do or because it's part of the job. So the instructions that I have for you guys is to jot down some ideas about what it means to be a good citizen, or talk about it amongst yourself after the presentation.
So now let's do a reflection. So think about how you currently do your civic duty right now as youth, and what else you can do as you grow older. For example, finish this sentence. I am a good citizen because blank, and I do my civic duty by blank. Here's an example that I'll give. So you could say, I am a good citizen because I use the crosswalk. And I do my civic duty because I'm not breaking any laws. It's easy as that, So yeah, think about that for yourselves.
Absolutely. And so think about this too. When you have a picnic at the park, you clean up after yourself. If you see a crime being committed, you call the police. You respect your neighbors by being polite and kind to them. You vote in elections. There are many, many ways to be a good citizen. It's not just like there's only one way to be a good citizen. There's so many different ways.
And that is all we have for you guys today. Thank you so much. And if there's any questions, you can ask them now.
Thank you. Bye.